This is the Rail, Maritime and Transport Union, the RMT, balloting for a nationwide strike, train stoppages, and they're thinking of adopting the tactics of Extinction Rebellion by gluing themselves to the railway lines. Well, they're denying it at the moment, but it just seems like the most dangerous thing to do because a car can stop in a relatively short space, especially with high-tech brakes, but a train can, the momentum of the weight of the train, it can take a couple of miles to stop a train. So I hope not. And I just want to know what kind of glue all these people are using to glue themselves to roads and stuff, because down at the seaside, doing a few repairs this last week, I pulled down this new roller blind and the fabric just shot off the roller. I tried to glue that back and it wouldn't, and a bit fell off the face from my house, and I tried to glue that. So I'm thinking, I want to know, what's the preferred glue of climate activists?
Preferred glue is a tack.
Oh, they don't glue?
No, you put a tack in it. Just hammer the tack.
No, but what the protesters are using.
Oh, you...
No, I'm talking about her blind.
Oh, right, OK, right.
You put a tack.
Well, it had got previous glue marks on it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Try a tack on that one.
Chris has got a more serious point to make about...
My concern is some of the younger, more idealistic protesters who get carried away by some of the rhetoric and some more elder, eloquent people. The unintended consequence, at some stage, one young person, young and vibrant, gets wiped out and becomes the martyr for the cause. You know, unintended, you know, he or she's gone along, it could be your child, my child, grandchild, whatever, gets carried away, is there, glues himself to the track, herself to the track, gets wiped out. OK, they've got their pin up, their martyr for the cause, but then the reality hits that a family's lost.
But doesn't that show you how desperate these workers are, these trade unions are, for someone to listen to them? Because I'll tell you, I've been doing this job 42 years, and I've never seen any mainstream media support unions or commentators talk about unions. Everybody is frightened of unions, but unions are there for a reason. The thing is, these people will lose their jobs, whether they're in the post office, whether they're working for one of the rail unions or whatever. Nobody cares. They'll lose their jobs, and these people have nothing to define their lives and no way of going forward. I put it to you, Chris, they are desperate, and instead of thinking about gluing this and our reaction to all of that, why aren't we saying these people have a point? Would you do their job? Would you be working doing the jobs that they would do? Because I wouldn't, and I think you've got to realise we've got to value people in society.
Yeah. So everything you said, great, fantastic. I think my point was all of this Extinction Rebellion, all of these protests we were seeing, where I saw an article once recently where a young mum, young kid in the back of her Range Rover, desperately trying to get to school, she absolutely loses it, and it's this young kid who are in the middle of the road. Now, the mum, behind a 2-ton car, starts nudging them. Now, the mum...
I saw that.
She could so easily run over a couple of kids. In her desperation, and she's a murderer.
Well, look, this brings up two different points, right? There's the right to protest, the right to strike, whatever. And then there is this whole business. We've got the Energy Secretary saying to the North Sea oil fields and gas fields, right, pump up your production, get this production going. Meanwhile, we've got all these Extinction Rebellion protests all around the country, people saying no to fossil fuels. Where are we at with this? I mean, suddenly it all seems to have disappeared. Are we going to produce more oil and gas? Are we not? Are we going to go with the green agenda?
Yeah, there was some minister in an article, and the headline was, coal, it's the future, you know, it's the answer to all our problems. So COP Out 26 or whatever it was called in Glasgow, that's all those photo ops and everything, it's all forgotten now.
When the headlines go from fish and chip paper, you would assume that the powers that be and the apparatchiks are actually working on answering some of the questions that you are now postulating here. So just because it's not on the front pages doesn't mean, I would hope to think, that those who are paid to really think this through. The real challenge is this, for me. We have a very short-termism in this country, this nation. We don't think the long term, and we're not planning for 20, 30, 40 years ahead, and actually sticking to a strategy to deliver in 20, 30 years' time. So when my grandchildren are in our position, they live in the world that we'd want them to have, as opposed to probably going to have.
But we probably need a twin-track approach now, which is an emergency approach plus a statement to say we are committed to the COP treaty or not, because I certainly don't know where we're at now. No one talks about COP anymore.
No, it's disappeared very fast.
Strategy's come out, hasn't it? And obviously talking about the wind farms onshore, offshore, and return of nuclear by 2050.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.